Hi, I'm Kevin and this is Julian. We're from Victory Cigars in Oshawa, Ontario. Today we're going to discuss the differences between real and fake Cuban cigars. You're going to notice a lot of differences between the boxes themselves and the cigars. We're going to discuss both things today.
Yeah, whenever I go to Cuba, I'm always amazed at the array of different boxes that are offered to me, and 99% of them contain fake cigars, and I can tell just because of some of the external cues. For me, it's all about the labels, and on any box of authentic Cuban cigars, there are two labels that are absolutely authentic: the Republic de Cuba label and the Habanos label. And positioning is important. This Habanos label will be across the top corner like this. Let's take a look at this Republic de Cuba label. It's got three elements. First off, green on white on the label, a hologram, which when you tilt the box in the light, you can see color change there. And it's also got a barcode. And the barcode, which is on the base of that label, has a number at the bottom. And if you take that number and visit the Habanos.com website, you'll be able to put that number in and it will tell you whether or not this is an authentic box of cigars. So that label is absolutely crucial. And the Habanos label, always in this color combination with some silver lines on top and bottom. Now this particular box we're looking at here too has two other labels. This Habanos hologram is in fact from Havana House, which is Canada's Cuban cigar importers, and there's a Canadian tax stamp. So those labels would not ordinarily be present on a box of Cuban cigars. It's these two that you're looking for. Now the box that you have in front of you, which is one that's...
This is somewhat suspect, let's call it. On this box, we'll notice that we do not have the Habanos sticker on the top corner of the box. That lends me to believe that this is a fake box of Cubans. We also have no number on the bottom of the sticker of this Republic de Cuba sticker as well. Very suspect as well. There is no hologram on the top of the sticker. So when you look at that, there's a lot of warning signs there that this is a fake box of Cuban cigars. You'll notice on the bottom as well, Julian's also got one here. Julian's box has the date stamp and the factory code on there. Doesn't exist on this box.
Yeah, and one really neat and easy way to tell whether or not this box is authentic is if you run your finger over the Habanos Hecho on Cuba. It's not just a stamp, it's in fact intaglio. It's pressed into the wood, and if you run your fingertips along that mark, you'll feel that it's pressed inside. That's one really clever way of being able to tell with your fingertips whether or not the box is authentic. And overall,
smooth as silk on this one.
Yeah. And you can see a little bit of smudging on that one too. And overall, just the quality of the box. It's very well constructed. The lacquer is uniform. It looks authentic and a bit more suspect here.
Yeah, I think if you look at even the hinge itself, it's very poorly done. The hinge is small, weak. As well, when you look at the tongue and groove on the side, it's completely raised, hasn't been shaved down or sanded down properly. We have a poor stamp on the front of the box as well. I mean, it's actually crooked.
So how about when we get inside the box? What would we start to...
Well, what you should see inside, when you open the box, you should see uniform cigars everywhere. Every cigar should be exactly the same. When you look at this is so poorly done, it's almost laughable. Very poor hinge, like I said, not a proper joint on the seams. And when you look at the cigars themselves, you'll see that each cigar is actually a different size. You'll also notice the cigars themselves, how they're situated inside the box. Very poor band quality on these cigars, all different sizes, and the bands themselves are not even evenly distributed on the cigar. This should be a straight line of bands right across the box. You look right off the hop, you can tell that this just looks very suspect.
It's especially noticeable, I think, when you look at the fact that the bands are at different heights. You would never see that in an authentic box of Cohibas, and even the Esplendido label inside the top has been applied crookedly. So,
and it's poor, and that's just such poor quality.
Yeah.
So, I think the next thing that we need to do after we've looked at the boxes themselves, is to actually look at a cigar. There's going to be a lot of different things on the band itself that are going to be different between a fake and a real, and then we can delve into the cigar itself. So, what we're going to do here is we're going to go over the band itself first. So, Julian's going to hold up the real Cuban cigar. I'm going to show you the fake Cuban cigar, or so-called fake. So, we're going to look at the band first of all. You'll notice on the Cohiba band on the real Cuban cigar that there's 3 dots above the word Cohiba itself, and then we just have a little black line. When you look at the fake Cohiba, you have 3 dots, and then you have this line of white going above that. That just spells fake itself. You'll notice that there's embossed gold lettering for the word Cohiba itself. I see no embossing at all, and a very bland, almost a grayish colored Cohiba name on it itself. You'll notice the Cohiba yellow on this real Cuban cigar is rich, it's vibrant, it's almost jumps out of that band, and this one's very bland again, almost you know, pastel color. Another thing that we should determine is the back of the cigar itself, where the band is joined together. You'll notice on the real Cuban cigar that you can barely tell where the band is joined together. It's right here, actually, right up there, that seam right there. The seam is flawless. When you look at the seam of this cigar here, it's very poorly done. It's raised up on the one side. The glue looks like it's terribly glued together. It's actually got some glue on the cigar itself, so that's very poorly done as well. I think the next thing that we can look at, Julian, is the cap itself. So when you look at a Cuban cigar, a real Cuban cigar has triple cap on it. They all have a triple cap, so you'll see 3 lines, 1, 2, and 3 lines where the cap has been applied to the top of the cigar. But when you look at a fake Cuban cigar like this one, I see 1 cap on there. That's another distinguishing factor that this is actually a fake cigar.
You know, and looking at that cigar while you're holding it as well, just from the standpoint of what I can see, it's waving in and out. It's not even a true cylinder. So certainly there's a lot of visual cues here on the cigar that it's not legit.
Yeah, the shape is definitely off on it.
Okay, so ultimately though, we know that 99% of the Cohibas that people buy in Cuba, they're fake. And quite often it's somebody on the beach and they're handing them a single cigar. What's the ultimate test to be able to tell whether or not this is real?
We cut her open.
That's why they call you Dr. Newell.
Yes, let's do her. So what we're going to do here, first we're going to try and get this band off, which might be a little bit difficult because it's, well, look at that. Wow. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a knife, and first of all, we're going to cut right through the wrapper, which is the outside portion of the cigar, and we're going to remove the wrapper leaf itself. So we see the wrapper leaf coming off quite nicely, actually. So I'm going to take the top of this outer sleeve of the cigar apart. I'm going to put that over to the side there. Outer leaf looks quite nice, actually. So then what we're looking at now is the binder of the cigar. The binder is what actually holds the filler inside together. Okay, so what we're looking for in the middle is long filler cigar. So we're looking for long pieces of tobacco, just like what came off that wrapper leaf. So we're going to slice through the binder itself. Try and get right through that whole thing. It's quite a thick piece of tobacco. Make sure you don't try and take off any fingers or anything like that. We're taking the binder off. Binder doesn't look too bad, but what we want to see in the inside, there's the binder itself. Doesn't look too bad itself. So we want to see long fill tobacco in here at the end. What we want to see is long pieces, no bits or anything. So when I open this up and I look at the filler itself, well, lo and behold, look at that. All I see is little bits of tobacco. And that's all it is on the inside of this cigar. This is very poorly constructed. Now, the problem with this itself, you're looking at it and going, yeah, that is tobacco, but you know what? This could be anything in here. This is not a true long filler cigar. This could be floor sweepings from the factory. This could be banana leaves. It could be weeds itself. I've seen, worst case scenarios, I've seen twigs. I've seen hair. I've seen even worse things than that inside the cigar. So this is truly a poorly constructed short fill cigar. Definitely not a Cohiba cigar.
So you mean to say that that box of cigars is not worth $1,500?
No. When somebody comes in and they said, I mean, one of the typical factors that I see when somebody comes in, they bought a box of cigars, the first question I ask them is, how much did you pay for it? And when they say $75, right off the hop, I know that's a fake. It's a fake box.
Yeah, it's astonishing, really, because if I walked up to somebody and told them I had a Harman Kardon stereo for sale for $50, regularly $1,500, they would look at me and say, "Are you kidding me?" But they willingly will pump out $50 and think that they're buying an expensive box of Cohibas. Cohiba's the brand I think that you've really got to watch out for in Cuba. We are starting to see a little more of some of the Romeo and Julietas being knocked off. Starting to see cigars from other countries being knocked off as the price points increase. But Cohiba's the brand, and Esplendido is the worst culprit. And I think one last thing I'd like to point out to you. There is, to my knowledge, no model of Cohiba cigars which comes in a box with a glass top. And last time I was in Mexico, every box had a glass top. Yeah, they look fancy, but folks, they're fake. And they're not even worth the $50 you're paying for them. And that's the real shame here. And as Kevin said, gosh knows what's in the middle. So earlier I said that 99% of the cigars purchased in Cuba are fake. That's because people are buying them on the beach. If you want to make sure that you're getting authentic Cuban cigars like this and not this, then you have to make sure you purchase your cigars at a Casa del Habano. You can go to habanos.com and find those shops. They're in all the big cities, in Holguin, they're in Veradero, they're in Havana. If you don't buy your cigars at a Casa del Habano in Cuba, you are definitely going to be purchasing this. Thanks very much for watching. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to shoot us an email, or you can visit us on the World Wide Web at www.victorycigars.ca. And if you're near the shop, come on in. We've always got real Cuban cigars.